6-3, solve multi-step inequality. Okay, so the same rules apply as solving equations with one exception. What is that one exception?
When you multiply or divide by a negative number, the symbol moves opposite way.
Yeah. Where inequality changes directions only when you multiply or divide by a negative. Remember that example I gave you yesterday? It's what you're multiplying by, not what you're multiplying to. Okay? So those examples I gave yesterday, one was correct, one wasn't. Alrighty. Example 1.
I didn't see it.
It was on the board. Thanks for paying attention to what I wrote on the board. For your benefit. Alright, so here's a general inequality with multiple steps. You solve it the exact same way as an equation. Circle the term you're solving for. You don't have to do this. Just a refresher of what we did in chapter 2. Circle the term you're solving for. Get rid of your other terms by doing the opposite. So I'm adding 3 to both sides. Get rid of your or make the coefficient a positive 1 by either multiplying by the reciprocal or dividing by the coefficient. So if I divide off the 2, that's a 1x greater than 5. Nothing's different about this than the previous chapters of solving equations, correct? Everybody understands this? All right, so let's look at example 2. -7 times the quantity r plus 3, quantity closed, greater than or equal to -13. There's 2 different ways you can solve this. You can divide off the -7 first, and then subtract the 3. That'd be fine. Or you can distribute and solve it that way. I'm going to go ahead and distribute because most of you will do that. That's -7r plus -21 greater than or equal to -13. Now if you say, well, you multiplied by a -7, why did you change the direction? Well, it's only when you're doing it to the whole equation. Right now, all we're doing is simplifying this parentheses. Do you understand the difference? Anybody not understand? Okay. Now, this is the term I'm solving for. I'm going to add a positive 21 to both sides. So -7r is greater than or equal to positive 8. Then what do I do next? Divide by a negative. And when you do that, this changes direction. So r is less than or equal to -8/7. Or -1 1/7.
Why is it changed here?
I divided by a negative. Those are the rules. That's what you were supposed to do on homework last night. The thing that I wrote down on the board, what to do when you multiply or divide by a negative. Did anybody even read what I put on the board?
I read it.
It was there this morning, so I know it was there all day. Okay. It's also in your book. You won't have to change many, but you need to change some.
Most of them.
Basically, if you did that in your homework, all you have to go do through and look at your work. If you divided or multiplied by a negative, just erase the inequality and change the direction. Everything else should be the same.
The graph, you gotta graph it.
Oh, the graph. You
graph
guys
it.
had to graph too.
Yeah, you gotta
That's
graph
a
it.
bummer.
All you have to do is change the way the arrow's going.
And the.
No, you don't have to change
Okay, example 3.
point. No, you just change the other way.
-2/3 d minus 2 is less than 1/3 d plus 8. Now this is definitely a multi-step inequality, but nothing is different about this than your equation test.
Well, I'm just going to do the first
What's the first step?
Alright, you gotta subtract the 1/3 D.
Okay? Or you could add the 2 to this side. It doesn't matter. Okay? The point is you got to get all your variables on your variable term on one side and your numbers on the other. So it doesn't matter which one you do first. So he wants to subtract the 1/3 D to the left. What does that give me?
Negative D.
Yep. That's a -2 plus a -1 is a -3. A -3 over +3 is a -1D. -2 less than 8. Anybody lost? Is that too fast? Can I go on? Okay. Add 2 to both sides. Negative D is less than 10. So positive D is
Greater than
greater than -10. Why? How did that happen? You divide by -1, or you multiplied by a -1 to make that positive. Either way, you're multiplying dividing by a negative, so that changes directions. Okay? Anybody not know what to do? Excellent. So a bunch of A's tomorrow, right? Page 372, 4 to 32 evens. Make sure you do even.